Ladies and gentlemen from around the world, 2 long weeks we have waited. 2 long weeks we have sat back. I attempted to do drama in Germany, but it wasn't going to happen. Yet I did have all these strange people, these beautiful ladies, who came to me with there. These were sponsor managers. These were people on the management side. They were creatives. They were people who were doing all kinds of things saying, I love drama time. Please, can I be in drama time if you do it from Germany? Please, please, please. But all I had was a webcam in a corner and a hope and a smile to make those things happen. So it wasn't going to, but here we are. Here we are. And you might notice right down below me, if you didn't follow on Twitter, that indeed PreachCon 2020 has been announced. It will be on the 30th of July in Manchester. The deals have been struck. The signings have been done while I was busy in Germany for the Race to World Second. My wife was busy making PreachCon happen in the best way possible for all of you guys, and it has been done. The date is listed down below should you want to come and party with all these people that you probably, for a lot of you probably talk to on an almost daily basis through our stream. It will be happening then. When the tickets are going on sale, we'll announce. We're just making sure the price is right. I don't know what I'm giving you guys this time. Last time, of course, can I do this without destroying drama? Probably. Last time, everybody got one of these. Whoa! Giant mouse mat. Giant mouse mat. Everyone got one of those. I haven't really decided exactly what I want to do for you guys this time because apparently this year is more important. So Emma tells me because it's a 5-year anniversary. I mean, I'm just not big on that stuff, you know? Just not big on the old anniversaries and all that kind of good stuff. I'm not big on that, but according to Emma, it is a big deal that we're having the 5-year anniversary. And we should do something in line with the 5-year anniversary. Yeah, it's the 5-year anniversary of PreachCon. So apparently that's special. So that's something I need to look at. So it has been 2 weeks. If you didn't see the Race to World First Methods one, that's where I was casting this time. They did come second, as I'm sure nearly everybody here knows. But did do some cool things. Got to talk with the mayor. And as you'll probably notice for our YouTube audience, if you've been a bit out of the loop, and you start seeing a ridiculously chubby face of mine popping up from this wonderful chat, I did take part in a game called Chubby Bunny for raising so much money for children, for charity for children. Thousands and thousands of dollars were raised just on my casts alone. Nearly $10,000, I'm told, were raised personally on my casts. So like a quarter of everything that was raised was thanks to you guys. So, yeah, have fun with the meme. It's not staying. This is not staying, by the way. This is not staying. Nope, this will be disappearing. So enjoy it while you've got it. Enjoy it while you've got it. That's all I'm going to say. Enjoy it while you've got it, because it's not I demand it stays. Because why would I want to look at that face? I'm stuffed full of, what was it, 13 marshmallows? 12, 13 marshmallows were in my face at the time. Yeah, I don't particularly want it to stay. I'll be honest with you. I don't like it. It's glorious. We'll have some sort of vote. We'll allow a vote to take place. But that's not why you're here today. It is, of course, the return of drama. It is Valentine's Day. I hope many of you didn't forget. I crafted my Valentine's card to Emma because I did return from Germany. Didn't have time to go shopping for one. So I crafted her one, arts and crafts style. I even put a spring out picture in it for when she opened it. She opened it, like, popped out. I put a springy cardboard in there. I used some string to give it some tension. That was crisp. Oh, it was fucking bang on, man. It was absolutely bang on. I wrapped it in a ribbon, the whole thing. It was really good. It was not a ring with a socket. Also, it's been a couple of weeks. Sorry, there's more announcements than normal. But you may have seen we're doing some super nerdy stuff right now for the first YouTube video that's coming out after I got back, because so much has happened, and obviously there's a lot to catch up on. But we're kind of running an experiment right now. A lot of people are sending me their data. All I want you to do is do like 6 times just hitting a training dummy. Just make sure it's identical each time. And just send me what your DPS is after 3 minutes. That's it. Just hit a training dummy for 3 minutes. Write down the DPS. Do it 6 more times. Make sure it's identical. Make sure the dummy heals up to full. And make sure you click off any buffs. We're just curious as to see what your variance is. Alright? Don't change gear or anything. Just do the same thing 6 times. Just send me. And just let me know what class it is. Be genuinely curious. Right. We're going to get weird. It is Valentine's Day. We're going to see some guilds fall. let's just go with, it hasn't got a title with it, so I'm just going to go with I had to. Which is always the, it's always the thing. I had to. I just had to do it. I had to do it. Now the question, of course, is, did you have to do it? Almost certainly the answer is no. No, you didn't. But, you know, would it be drama time if it wasn't that fight? Let's check over to Patreon. Now, it does say here, and this can come to my wonderful chat, you will also need a pretentious white knighty guild name. There you go. Oh, I'll change the 2 in a second. Don't worry about it. So we need a GM who will be Gregor. Excellent. We need a girl. Becca. I like the way you've even put your Patreon name as Becca. Interesting. And raid leader Sam, who will be Deathstroke, apparently. Thank you for the support. Deathstroke. Thank you for the support, Deathstroke. Okay, so this is going to start relatively ordinary. Yeah, we got Deathstroke in here. Deathstroke is the raid leader, by the way. Just what I'm saying, right? Just what I'm saying. Hey, it's not big, fat, and ugly. It's bald, fat, and ugly. And I'll have you know, bald, fat, and ugly are like world 47th right now. All right? Don't disrespect bald, fat, and ugly. They're rising. They're rising strong. Il'gynoth died last night. I think we can kill Carapace on Sunday. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right, here we go. What did we go? Edge Stroke. The Knights of Chivalry. I quite like that by Tryster. The powdered wigs. I think the Knights of Chivalry is the way to go. I like that. Greetings, preach, and your illustrious chat. I've enjoyed listening to Drama Time for a few years now. And finally, something happened to me. I didn't think it could happen, but it did. And I think it's worthy of being sent to you to hopefully be read aloud. Well, here we are, my friend. This is a story of how me and, quite frankly, many other people were suckered into a cult, pretending to be a guild that was ran by a cunning thief whose image was that of the White Knight. Flashback to the beginning of BFA. My guild that I was co-GMing at the time was beginning to focus on content that was for nerds. I have always enjoyed casual World of Warcraft. My week consists of MOG runs, mount farming, world content. I'm joking, you do whatever you want. And the like, while our GM was trying to steer the guild into raids and higher M+ keys. At the time, I couldn't give a fuck about those things. So when he said that's the way we were going, I quietly just stepped down and decided to look for a new guild. Well played, that man! Oh, that's the way the guild's going? Cool, I'm just going to move on then. That's not my jam. You guys do you. I'm out of here. Fair enough. While playing on an alt I was leveling, a whisper arrives in the pink. Do you wish to join? What were we going with? The Knights of Chivalry? On a MOG run of Molten Core? This sounded right up my alley. Oh, yes, I do. I was summoned shortly thereafter by the GM himself, Gregor. Soon, the entrance filled with 40 players. This is in BFA, right? There's 40 of you going to Molten Core. And we headed in. I noticed that all of the people who had been given promotions in the raid were all members of the Knights of Chivalry. Gregor started the run with a speech. A long speech. Gregor stood in front of the raiders about to clear Molten Core for their transmog armor and declared how World of Warcraft had become super toxic. And that everybody in this raid had encountered some sort of toxicity in their time and probably recently. And everyone needed to be nicer to each other. And that it is people like us, you and me, can rebuild the once fabulous World of Warcraft community back to its former glory. Praise him. The speech was kind of inspiring. The message, not a terrible one. And I found myself drawn to it. I'll not lie. I was kind of into it. At the end of the raid, Gregor handed out free 16 slot bags to every member of the raid. He asked if anyone wishes to share and spread this message, they can join the Knights of Chivalry and rebuild the WoW community together. Me and a few others agreed, and I was inducted, I like the use of the word inducted here, into their Discord. Ladies and gentlemen, this guild was huge. Discord had over 1,500 members. Multiple voice channels regularly had 6+ people in them at a time. It was a social player's wet dream. Friends, new acquaintances, people to speak to share memes with. It was wonderful. At the time of its death, the Knights of Chivalry was the #1 US guild in terms of active real members. How did you check that statistic? Can you do that? I mean, maybe you can. It just feels like that's a straw that you're grasping at. I don't know how you check it, but I like it. The guild bank was flush with consumables and cash. Often the guild accepted donations. Yes. And they would be used for raffles and such. Leadership regularly did giveaways, mounts, pets, and sometimes even huge amounts of gold to lucky members. They even did a bit of current raiding, though rarely higher than heroic, along with M+, which I now started to enjoy. A few months of us spreading this good gospel amongst our community. I had worked my way up the ranks to being an officer within the guild. I had made many friends, and the guild was just a community. Of course, there was the occasional bad egg or troll, but they were swiftly removed by the officer team for spreading their toxicity amongst our ranks. One day, Gregor hosted a large guild meeting, like he normally did about once a month, just letting people know what was going on within the guild, if any officer spots were open, and just getting a pulse on the community of so many people. However, it was this meeting, that started the shit show. Gregor announced he was quitting WoW. He needed a break. He was going to be passing the status of Guild Master to long-time co-GM, an absolute gem of a human being named Becca. Becca was a wonderful leader, well respected throughout the community. She had been the co-GM for 2 years at that point. But there was a problem with Becca. Becca was a girl. A few days passed, and suddenly Gregor announces on Discord that he's had a change of heart. He's going to stay the GM of the guild. Becca would be his co-GM once more, and nothing was to change. It was a lot. Our community was very harmonious, you must understand. Very social, all about the people. And this was a lot for them to take in. There was a portion of the guild that didn't mind the transfer of leadership, that they were looking forward to having Becca in charge. But there was a good amount of people that sent her really dodgy messages and made her really upset because she was a girl. So there was that element of it too, which is surprising in a guild so focused on spreading the good word of community building, that there was apparently, and I'm shocked too, guys, that in our harmonious, everyone hold hands, kumbaya, hippie, sandal wearing, weed smoking community, that there are some thirsty cockfuckers in there, right? I mean, it's weird, but it turned out to be the truth. It turned out to be the truth, which was really strange. Becca was so shocked at the messages that she had received that she decided that she was actually just going to step down and just not play WoW anymore. So she posted a nice, heartfelt message in the announcements channel in Discord. I encourage everyone to be their best them that you can be. Keep the message alive. And she quietly left. No fuss, no muss. And this is where Gregor made his first mistake. She'd left a lovely message. She had plenty of friends in the community. He deleted her goodbye message. A few hours after she posted it and had left the Discord server, he deleted it. Now, only Gregor and Becca had permissions to delete a message from her, and since she was no longer in the Discord, it was fairly obvious who did it. However, despite it clearly being labelled as him being the only person, Gregor said, "Wasn't me." You're literally the only person. Yeah, I know. His defense, of course, saying that he just didn't know what had happened to it. Maybe it was a database error. Okay. However, the R. Kelly defense, it's good. It's good. We're going to allow it. However, obviously this had sparked some differences in the officer channels. People started to question him for the first time ever. This man spreading this good word and community and messages and love is now deleting messages and hiding things. Officers started to push him. One in particular. Eventually admitted it. I did delete it. Yes, it's true. But I only did it for the good of the guild. To spare the guild from useless drama. I did it for you, okay? I didn't want to do it. I did it for you. For you. The officer chat lit up with rage. People saying it's wrong of him to remove the message and that he had become a censor and he was imposing his censorship on us all. This actually caused people to leave the guild, including a long-time high-ranking officer. She left a short message as well. But of course, Greg had deleted it. The guild responded with just as much confusion, worry and anger than it did when Becca left. What the hell is going on? It was at this point that raid leader Deathstroke, another prominent and well-respected officer, posted some choice things about Gregor in officer chat, and he left as well. Within a few moments, most of the high leadership was gone. But this meant there was nothing to keep Gregor in check. There were a total of 3 officers left, myself including. And madness descended upon the guild. The very next day, Gregor started posting screenshots of messages between him and Deathstroke. It was a heated conversation that included Deathstroke saying things about wanting to sabotage the guild and how he never trusted any of the other officers and how this guild was going to be his. And we were all shocked. We're shocked. Deathstroke, the raid leader, sabotaging the guild, trying to usurp leadership from Gregor all this time. Gregor concluded with, see, look at what toxicity has done. These are the kind of people that want to ruin a guild. Stand with me and we can get through this and keep our message going. Stand with me through all of this and we will come out in the light. Now, there was only one problem. I used Photoshop too. And there was clear evidence that Gregor had manipulated the messages between him and Deathstroke. Particularly the ones where it seemed like he was not trusting the officer team. And that Deathstroke was out to sabotage the guild. At this point, I was done. F this. F you. Gregor had lied to us all. Deathstroke was our friend. Sure, we weren't raiders, but he gave it a go. He took us there. And this is what's happening now? It was time to act. Now, this is a question I put to you, chat. What do we do? What do we do? We've got a man. A leader. A cult-type leader. We riot? Freedom? Leave? Destroy the guild? Wrong, idiots. It's time to construct an entire website with evidence. And then to send that website to me. As if this is a logical plan of action. Which, you know, sure. Okay, so the website I have here, I beg your pardon. Now, I have to be a little careful here to cut out the names, but to give you an idea of how serious... This is actually a really well-prepared website that was made in May. So it has not been made for our purposes by any means. And I will give you an idea of how this looks. I'm going to show you a picture of it, but obviously I can't show you the website because it does contain their Discord names. So it kind of looks It looks a bit like this. So this is like a section that I've cut out of one of the... This is Article 1. This is the evidence. Parties collected, the POV of the GM. Click the arrows, and then we have all the messages here. Then, what happens past that is pretty sick, actually. Is it then goes into detail like CS fucking I of where the manipulations have occurred. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So I'll give you an example if I can. There we go. Oh, this, yeah, enhanced. I'll go through this in a second, but I want you to see, make sure there's no names on this. Good. We're awesome. Excellent. Okay, so you can see. Here we can see an added line. Note the inconsistent spacing between the above and below lines. Now, I want to be super clear on this for everybody watching. This is an entirely rational course of action that we're taking here. Entirely rational. There is nothing wrong about this. I can tell from the pixels, as you can see. The arty amongst you are like, I do see the problem. Okay, so let's go through the evidence that has been collected here to make sure we're all good. Article 1 of the evidence, the raw screenshots. These screenshots were collected by both parties, submitted willingly or posted publicly. This only contains the screenshots. No explanation is provided in this section. This is just the raw evidence we shall be working with. The first screenshot in each pair will contain the POV from the GM. The second screenshot will contain the POV from the other individual in the chat. A highlighted portion in the second screenshot serves to pinpoint the differences between the two. This is presented in gallery format, so click the arrows on the side to move things through the screenshots. So what we can see throughout this evidence as we move through Article 2, and then, of course, Article 3, and then concluding with Article 4, is that our GM decided to start swapping lines around. I'll give you to give you some interest as we move through the articles here of data. I would like to see this as standard going forward. Make sure there's no names. We're good. Excellent. Beautiful. As you can see, multiple inconsistencies. We can see these three added lines, like what is happening there, of course. The inconsistency between the spacing as well as the image artifacts around the text. The space between this mesh and the line below is much larger than the other lines. Clear signs of image manipulation. So... I think we can all agree something fishy is going on. You've been busted. Objection! Okay. Objection. My Discord works differently than yours. So there we go. Right. Okay, so... I made an entire website dedicated to all the evidence I had found. You see, I contacted Deathstroke, my boy Deathstroke, about what had happened, and he was pissed. He was the one who sent me the original screenshots. And now we just needed to spread them to the rest of the guild. So the website is created. Posting a bunch of single links to Discord was... Posting a single link to Discord was way easier than sending 20 pictures to everyone, as we all know. And explaining it to a bunch of times. I spent the evening getting it ready, prepared to put my plan into action. I started by sending the site to multiple popular members of the guild. Weaving it. As well as the remaining officers. By the following evening... all the officers had left, leaving me as the sole member of leadership other than Gregor. Those other members started to trickle out as well. The next morning, though, the plan must continue. The final phase of our strike team was about to go live. You see, Gregor lives on the west coast of the United States, while I and a majority of the active players all lived at the east coast. That gives us a 3-hour differential. I used this to my advantage, of course. I posted the link to every single one of the Discord channels at 8:30 a.m., knowing that Gregor wasn't awake yet. Who isn't awake by 8:30 a.m.? I mean, if you would have said, like, 5 a.m., sure, but 8:30? He's not going to get up till 11:30? Are you considered, Bossy? This is a real story. This is very much a real story. Yes, it is. For weird stories, we do get some sort of verification. We do. Get out of bed! For real! Get out of bed! Come on now. It kicked off quite the shitstorm, with people leaving and causing a ruckus on the way out, and by 11 a.m. that day, 11 a.m. that day, I was removed from Discord. The message, starting drama. A few of my friends stuck around to see they could watch the clusterfuck unfold. People were angry at Glorious Leader. They were tagging Gregor in repost of the link and asking him, "The hell, dude?" He said he would address it in a guild meeting that night. A gathering of the pure. At 7:30 p.m. The gathering. He stood upon his rock and he announced, "I am to disband the guild. I'm going to transfer to another server and start spreading my message there." Why? Why is he doing that? Why? What's the reason that he's giving up, ladies and gentlemen, that he was giving out publicly? What is the reason? He's been found proof of guilt? No, no, no! It's the big Lloyd Tree who spots it. Everyone in this server is just too toxic. That's why. That's the reality. That's why, okay? It's nothing to do with there being an entire website being built to find out how much of a lying prick you are. It's because the server's toxic. Everyone asked about the guild bank, since they had donated vast quantities of gold to that guild bank. He said he would give it all away on the new server in order to spread the kindness that he once hoped would be happening here. What a guy. Anyone who would contest this decision could eat a ban, and he would kick anyone who protested from the guild and Discord. Gregor didn't actually disband the guild, though. He simply server transferred the entire guild along with the gold, and the raid consumables, mounts, pets, and more, and just disappeared. So that, preacher in chat, is how I burned down the most active US WoW guild in less than 12 hours. Gregor sometimes tries to come back to our server to start a new guild there to spread his good word, but we quickly find him and tell him to fuck off. Even members of the server who were never in the guild, but had heard about what happened, know to watch out for him. I hope you enjoyed this little story, and have a wonderful day. Well, there you go, guys. You better watch out for these guys spreading the good word, because they're coming for you, and they're coming for your gold. That is what they're doing. Right. Okay. Now, I need your thinking caps on, team. We have a lady in distress. Everybody, white helmets on. Prepare yourselves. I need you all. I need you all in full white knight mode, my ladies. Tip of the caps to you all. That's what we need in our life right now. All right, we didn't really get Becca or Deathstroke to do anything. So let's swap out Gregor. Because being mentioned like 4 times isn't really ideal. Okay. All right, we need a guild name for you guys there. So we'll get Benjo. Benjo. Yeah, that's fine. All right, we need a guild name. We need a guild name to go along with this. We are missing a T. Well spotted. Well spotted. Right, it could be edgy. It could be whatever you want. I don't mind. The keyboard is really slow. Come on, keyboard. Do your job. There we go. Okay. Edgelord's Delight, Banjo and Kablowy, Kittens and Fireballs. I like that. I like that, actually. Usually it's something about jizz that the chat comes up with, but I like that. Nothing involving jizz or anything along those lines. Excellent. Okay. So, the guild identity crisis. She needs our advice. So be prepared to pass judgment upon this, okay? Let's see. The story. So, my guild, Kittens and Fireballs, is having an identity crisis. Don't vote guilty yet. Jesus Christ. Last tier, don't laugh. Last tier, we did quite well. We got 5 out of 8 heroic, which is fine, all right? It doesn't sound like much. You bastards. You bastards. It doesn't sound like much, but given the quality of our realm, it actually puts us in the top 2 to 3 dozen horde guilds. Right? The raid team is kind of solid. People float in and out. Most raid has something to do with all the other stuff that they play the game for, and there isn't a huge amount of commitment. However, enter Benjo and Deathstroke. They go way back. They like to reminisce about how things were when they used to be elitist raiders. Self-described. They seem to yearn for it. They would tell stories of the times that they were top of the damage meters. Knew all the strats. Were in the raids day one. Big stuff. Big stuff. You remember, back in the day. But they're past that now, and they like to remind us regularly that they are happy with what they described us as. And if this isn't a compliment, they're happy with the little happy casual guild that they've created for themselves. Don't you feel good to be a member of Kittens and Fireballs? Like little pets. Aw, it's not patronizing at all. I like it. You're like little pets. How cute. Oh, wonderful. They're happy with slowly progressing through normal mode. Until now, though. Things are about to fucking change. They have tasted what they described as the glory of heroic Eternal Palace. What's boss 6 in Eternal Palace? Queen's Court? I think. Right? Orgazoa? Maybe? Yeah, Queen's Court. They now knew that this guild, in their own words, could really be something. Throughout the tier, you could hear it beginning. The way they started to talk about each pull. The need for everyone to start doing homework. To do more homework. They started adding expectations. These two people, little by little, started to transform. Inside them, a seed of elitism had been planted into their bellies. And now it was coming. It's all written quite epic, this. Hungrier and darker. 8.3 draws near. Benjo, the GM, announces a plan. He's had a plan. He has been speaking at length with Deathstroke. They have decided, on the guild's behalf, that it's now time to make the switch. The guild is going to become, and this was written to us in capital letters, hardcore! Now is the time! They have decided that this is how they're going to do it. What they're not going to do is kick anybody out for being too casual. You're safe. They're not going to talk to people about picking up their game for not being hardcore enough. Instead, they describe to us the plan. They have decided that without any warning, add a ton of expectations upon everybody who likes to join the raid. So, by this system, the people who turn out to be in fact too casual will just leave on their own. They will start kicking any characters who have been inactive for longer than a week. They're going to cut down the amount of space and time given to more social aspects of the guild that don't relate directly to raiding. That way, they reasoned and explained to us, via this process through Nyalotha, by the time they get to Shadowlands, it's not a stupid plan, right? It's got a future. Pay attention. It's all about steady steps, yeah? So by the time they get to the Shadowlands, their raid team will be looking, as they described it, trim, sleek, and full of only the best. It will take one raid tier to turn this 5 out of 8 heroic guild into a world #1 contender. I personally am going to be casting these in Shadowlands. Guaranteed at this point with this plan. Guaranteed. I should also introduce Becca. It just says that as the line. We get to our first raid night for Nyalotha. Okay, here we go. People are entering the raid. Understandable. Excited. Brand new content. They have exactly the same devil may care attitude that they have every raid. People are rocking up to Nyalotha in their 430-ish and in some cases low 420 gear. Here to have a good old time. Have some fun. We start assembling in Rathion's boss room. We're chit-chatting, goofing off. People have started to whip out all the toys. When suddenly... Disgusting. 420 gear. I spit on you. I spit on you. People have started to whip out the toys. When Deathstroke gets on comms... And the first thing, what does he say? It's a brand new raid, ladies and gentlemen. Your team is excited. They've been looking forward to this for a while. They're all stood inside of Rathion's boss room. They're literally floating in a temporal weirdness of nightmares and mystery. This is how we're starting the tier. Clear comms. Oh, I didn't know what the clear comms means was. Got to thank you to, I believe it was Mr. Rich Campbell who introduced me to that video. Beautiful work, Tips. Beautiful work. Okay. The first comment from our leadership in this brand new tier is that he has no time for anyone else's shit right now. We have jobs to do. So do yours and I'll do mine. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm excited. I don't know about you. I'm ready for a good old time. I'm ready for a great old time. This is going to be an awesome raid. Absolute dead silence on comms. And then he says, if I see one single toy in this raid, I am going to absolutely fucking lose it. It is at this moment that one of the massive chair toys spawn in the middle of the boss room. Well played, that man. Well played, that man. Yes, this is the kind of raiders I want to be with. Nobody fesses up as to who it was. I don't know, man. I don't know. No one fesses it up. It's just sitting there, huge, unwieldy, and totally undercutting everything that Deathstroke is saying from that point onwards. Our good GM, Mr. Benjo, says, we are here to kill bosses, not to chit-chat. Imagine having fun while raiding. Imagine what a world that would be. Please just leave. Does this like sound similar for any of you guys? If it does, just leave. It doesn't have to be that way. You know, a lot of us don't raid that way at all. That's not what raiding is. I'm just letting you know. Just gotta put it out there for you. It's not like that. It's not like that. Okay. He's not wrong though. We are there to kill bosses. Normal mode, week 1. And it's not to be. Don't laugh. 3 hours we wiped on Rathion normal. Shit, dude. Oh, what? I don't know how. 3 hours. We had varying success, but we decided to call it a night as the mood was definitely down. But not before, of course, Benjo giving us our homework. He says we're going to add some rules. You will not be allowed in the raid unless you have at least 440 item level. You have all of your essences. You've done all of the research on the bosses. Immediately someone points out that the raid only drops 445 gear. So no one would even get any upgrades if we did that. To which he responds in the most raid leadery way you possibly can. We're not here to get upgrades. We're here to progress. Think about it. Yeah? Think about where your guild might be failing. True. True. We got some trues in the chat. True. So true. It is 8:30 p.m. the next Friday night. We're going back in. The raid is down to about 50% as many people as the last time we raided. 50% is just gone. Like, fuck this somehow. They were quite open about why they weren't coming anymore. They would straight up say we just can't be arsed. Fair enough. However, some have really pulled through. Perhaps the plan is going to work. One new member managed to pull herself from 422 to 448 in under a week. And ladies and gentlemen, we've just killed Wrathion Normal. Yes! We're starting to finally feel good. We are in the door. Maybe we just had a disastrous first attempt at Nylothar last week. Maybe it was all so new and we were carrying dead weight. People were starting to feel good. Maybe Deathstroke and Benjo were correct. Maybe we can become hardcore. Suddenly, Benjo pipes up, just as we're about to kill the two big mobs outside of Mort's room. I have decided that anyone who is deemed a casual raider is no longer allowed to get loot. Instead, we will use a new master looter system to funnel gear to people who are considered committed members of the raid team. Those who are deemed casual include people who take any time from raiding without giving him personally considerable forewarning. They also include people who we grab as pugs for our raids, which we do if we're down a healer, or members of the DPS haven't been gearing up fast enough outside of raid. Now, somebody didn't get an item off Wrathion that somebody else did. And now somebody is pissed. Somebody is pissed. That Wrathion normal loot, though. That's the shit right there. I mean, it scratches that itch. I like it. Now, we did have some guys in the guild who like a bit of banter. One of such people pipes up, why would anyone ever pug with us if they can't possibly get any loot? It's a good question. But Benjo has the answers. That's why he's in charge. He doesn't care. Problem solved. For too long, he declares, for too long, this has been a guild for casuals. And I swear to you, this is what he said verbatim. It is time for the kittens and fireballs to step into the sunlight of the hardcore world of mythic raiding. Again, one of our bancers points out maybe he's being a bit unrealistic. He then reminds Benjo that we got stuck on Wrathion normal for 3 hours. Just putting it out there that, you know, maybe it's a little too high because we couldn't kill Wrathion normal. Now, ask yourselves, though. No. Before you're taking the piss, you guys are all going to sit here and take the piss. Put yourself in the mind of Benjo. Reach that serene point. You've watched a Fat Boss video. You know what needs to happen. You've taken steps. You've now got people who are getting themselves geared. Why didn't they kill Wrathion normal last week? Think about it. Why? Why didn't they? Let me tell you why. It's because you had a bad mental attitude. That's right. You had a bad mental attitude. It was nothing more. You didn't kill Wrathion because your brain wouldn't let you kill Wrathion. You understand? Good. I'm glad we're all in the same place. Under his new policies, he's going to make sure that people are actually committed to raiding properly and not letting down the rest of the guild. Somebody else asks, hey, how do you plan to do this? Given the fact that master looting hasn't worked in WoW for almost 2 years now, and he says he doesn't care, the big guilds do it, so he'll find a way. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Because he's seen it, big guilds do it, he can do it. So now we're going to master loot. No problem. As this is all happening, we've wiped to the trash at Mort. Becca has had enough. She's had enough. She calls him rude. She calls him selfish. And she reminds him this isn't even her main guild. She has another guild that she raids with. She was just here to help out her friends. As a favour. And if she's not even allowed to get a few crappy normal items, irrespective of whether or not she wants it, then she wants nothing to do with this bullshit. She says, how can you decide? Just to be clear, let's get some rules on this, alright? How do you decide what is and is not considered committed enough to the guild? Now, again, put yourself in the headspace. What do you think his replies? Let me ask you this, Becca. How do you think I feel? How do you think I feel? I help people get gear. You know? Where's my time for fun? Where's my time to enjoy the game? Where is the getting gear for me? Where's that? Where's the progression for me? Where's the time for me? Okay? He's a victim. He didn't get any Wrathion normal loot, and he built this raid that killed Wrathion normal. He put it together. 50% of the losses. He didn't get any items. Most of us just sat in silence, wondering, the fuck is going on? Becca, though, didn't give a shit. As she said, it's not even her guild. So she started ripping into him about how hostile this guild was. How Deathstroke had started both raids as preemptively yelling at people over Discord while they're waiting for it to start. About screaming now when people make mechanical errors. As soon as the GM goes to say something, he is cut off by Deathstroke. He says probably the best thing a person can say to a woman who is already being dismissed by people, while voicing what I think are perfectly valid concerns. Girls, are you ready? Look, I know, look, sometimes, guys, come on, sometimes the ladies get a little rowdy and start mouthing off, right? And I think we can all agree that this is the best way of dealing with a situation like that. You know, when this is going on. Hey, you're getting a bit heated there. Why don't you just take a minute and calm down, all right? Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. Oh, yeah, it's nice, man. That's going to sort it all out, you know? Sweet mother of God. Oh, shit. That's it. Oh, my God. We are going to Red Alert. 100%. We're at Red Alert. We are at Red Alert, ladies and gentlemen. This is all going badly for everyone involved. We've really poured some fuel on this fire. Becca does take a moment. Becca does take a moment. She says, I'll be leaving now. And if anybody does want to keep raiding on this server, just come and join my guild and I'll take you through any raids you want to go on. And left the Discord server. The raid struggled on with just 13 people. 10 minutes later, we only had 10 people left. Just 1 week ago, our raid was bustling. We had a complete full raid. Conversation went on for a while after that, with people chatting in various configurations. At one point, I remember Benjo saying, unprompted, "Who does Becca think she is? You know, guys, who does she think she is? I have been raiding with Deathstroke for 11 years. 11 years. This gets really fucking strange. For 11 years, I know, just based on the time that Deathstroke logs in, what kind of mood he's in. I do. Does Becca know what kind of mood he's in? Of course not. I know what kind of mood he's in. I've known him for 11 years. And then the statement stopped. Yeah, honestly, it was all a bit tragic. Now, chat, I have a question for your audience. On the one hand, I want to leave this guild. She's still in the guild! She's still there! Right now! She's still there! I want to bail. The passive aggressiveness that is currently hanging in the air is palpable. Let's cancel Red Alert for now. The passive aggressiveness that is currently hanging in the air is palpable. And one guy just started posting pictures of his fishing trip in the guild Discord, unprompted. So there's that. There's an uneasy tension. There's a guy posting fishing trip pictures. So there's that happening. But, on the other hand, I kind of can't be arsed finding another guild. Finding a new guild sounds like it would be a pretty shit than just sticking with this one. I don't know what I'll do, but I thought I should share. It was all a bit much and a little bit funny in retrospect. Who knows? Maybe if I stick around, this guild will end up getting a Mythic N'Zoth kill. No. No, it won't. Ever. It's never going to happen. There's not even like a remote chance of that happening. Look, I'm just going to put it this way. Alright? So it doesn't come across as turbo elitist. There is 0 guilds right now that have wiped on Wrathion normal for 3 hours who are going to kill Mythic N'Zoth. Alright? That's just too long of a road to travel. It really is. Maybe in 7 to 9 years they'll do it, but it's unlikely, okay? In Shadowlands, yeah, maybe in Shadowlands, but I'm just being honest with you. If that's something you want to happen, I encourage it. It's not going to happen with these guys. And then it ends with, Lord knows, Preacher will probably have 12 months or so to try. Yeah, still not going to happen. I could give that guild like 3 years. If in current content, not going to happen. It is not going to happen at all. But you have a good go and see how it ends up. That should be fun to do. So our final question of the show today then is, should this person leave? Yeah. Get out. Why are you still there? You know when you should have left? Let me put it down to you when you should have left. It was when they said and decided for you that the guild is going to become hardcore. That was when you should have left, because it's not a hardcore guild. You can't just say, look, there's some terrible players here. Let's pick randomly a terrible player. Zarathos, right? Awful player. One of the worst I've ever been with. Wonderful member of the community, but just awful. Oh, really bad. Anyway, I just can't turn to Zara and say to him, I need you to be a good player now. It's never going to happen, right? His mouse is upside down. It's only got 2 buttons. It's just sad, honestly. It's just sad. You just can't make that happen, you know? Just get better, right? You can't do that. Just get better. It doesn't work. Really awful, that guy. Yeah, most of the chat knows about Zarathos. It's just not going to happen. It just happens. Someone clip this, I beg. Well, I'm sure the audience has let their decision be known. Ladies and gentlemen, PreachCon is happening. PreachCon 2020, 30th July. You can see it down below. I will announce the tickets soon, and we'll have a web show in order to do the tickets and make sure everybody is fully aware of what's happening. That is going to be happening, but that is the end of our show for today. Be good. I've missed you a lot. We'll be back on Monday, and hopefully, please send your science in. Check on Twitter for those of you. Oh, yeah, we got loads of stuff coming in. Nice! Even Nobble's done it for us. Awesome. Interesting. Nobble doesn't have much variance. Curious. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, I'm nerding out a little bit. If you want to help with this, that would be cool. So go and check it out there. Have a great weekend, guys. Saturday and Sunday your own. Hopefully, if you're doing something for Valentine's tonight, have fun. I'm not, because my wife is out. Not with the guy, with the kids. I'm going to watch Joker. I'll see you then. Be good. Bye-bye.